Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 18 of FTB Infinity Evolved Skyblock mode. Last episode we got started with Thaumcraft and we set up our basic Thaumcraft setup. We have research, we did a little bit of research and then I cheated to get all the research. And we set up our basic wand and a way to get these aspects, among other stuff. Today I would like to improve our wand recharging system. So right now we have this iron-capped wooden wand, and to recharge it, I've been going over to our mob farm and sucking up these little orbs that drop when mobs die. So when you die, you see that like little red orb there? If I stand close enough to it, that gets sucked into my wand and gives me 1 point of the corresponding this. Well, that's kind of inefficient. So I would like to come up with a better way to do so. Wands can also be recharged from aura nodes that spawn out in the world. So let's go look for some of those. Aura nodes tend to spawn on the lowest block that sees the sky, or at least pretty darn close to. That's really a fancy way of saying they spawn on the ground. Of course, here in the Void world, because there's no ground, they spawn right above Y0. So here I am at like Y9, and here's an aura node. You scan it, you get some aspects. But this aura node has a few properties. First of all, it is normal. 90% of nodes you find, 95% of nodes you find will be normal. Normal is fine. Secondly, it has Aqua, Ordo, and whichever one that is. Perditio, I think, in those amounts in it. So, it has over 25 of each, so if I right-click my wand on it, it will drain from the aura node. You can barely faintly see them without the thermometer, but they're much easier to see with the thermometer. But you can drain the aura node, and it drains into the wand. Now, if the aura node has less aspects than your wand can hold, and you're using an iron-capped wand, you can drain the aura completely, or you can drain the aspect completely from the aura. That damages the node. Don't do that. If you have a higher tier wand, and there's like one of the researches in the book, one of these somewhere. Oh boy. Well, there's a pretty early research you pick up that automatically stops draining. Here we go. Advanced node tapping? Nope, not that one. Master node tapping. Nope, not that one. Node preserver. This one. You will always leave at least one vis of each aspect in the node unless you are sneaking. But it's not possible with wands crafted from iron and wood. So because this is the beginner wand, it can still damage nodes, but at some point we'll make a upgraded wand that doesn't damage the nodes. Alright, let's put a waypoint here. So this is a Aqua Ordo Perditio node. And then we'll come back for it. Right now this is close to our base, so if we need these aspects, we can just fly here and drain it. I'm going to look around a bit more. Oh look, there's another one. To find these nodes better, you can also make the Goggles of Revealing. However, this takes some impregnated leather from witchery. I don't think it's very hard to make. This requires making, a few witchery machines that I just don't have yet. So right now I'm searching for nodes by hand. So this one is Aqua Terra. And the node type, the aspects in the node tend to be biome dependent. So here in the deep ocean biome, they'll probably all have at least some amount of aqua. I think I saw one in the distance while scanning. It's pretty easy to spot them against the, dark black backdrop. Or maybe not. But if you want, like, ignis nodes, go look in the nether. I have no clue what aspect... Oh, there's one. I have no clue what spawns at the end. If you want, like, Perditio nodes, look in desert biomes, I think. So this node has a pale trait. I don't know what exactly that is, but I think it's bad. So this is Air Aqua. Anyways, I'm going to spend a little bit going around the area immediately around our base and marking the nodes we find. So this is Air Aqua as well. Yeah, I learned that you don't actually have to look through the thermometer to spot things. You can actually see them. Like you see that node off on the right there. You spot them just fine as long as you have the thermometer out. I wonder, is it easier to look in third person? Almost assuredly is, huh? Cute trick. Most nodes only contain the primal aspects, so like the 6 tier 1 aspects. But you see this node here contains tree aspect. I don't know what it's called. Oh, it says right there, arbor on the tooltip. The secondary aspects are not very useful in nodes right now. They can become useful later on, but just something to keep in mind. This one is, again, just aqua air. So the area around my base, because it's deep ocean, I think every node so far has had aqua in it, and I've had very few sources of ignis. I've spent the last 10-ish minutes going around marking off a whole bunch of nodes. I think I found at least one node that has every aspect in it, or rather, every aspect is in at least one node. I have not found a node that has every basic aspect, and I don't even know if those generate. Would be really cool if they did. Anyways, as you can see with my jetpack fuel, I'm starting to run low, so I don't want to hover over the void any longer because I don't want to run out of jetpack gas and drop into the void. Now, all these nodes are spread out all over the world, and they're kind of close and I can move pretty fast to get to them, but wouldn't it be more convenient if they were all right here in our base? Thaumcraft itself has a method for moving nodes called Node in a Jar. So if I find that entry in the Thaumonomicon, hey look, I found it, we can build this thing around a node using glass and slabs, drain a bunch of aspects from our wand, and turns it into a node item. We can then place that in the world and, basically undo it to release it. That, I mean, it technically works, but as the thing tells you, this will, let's see, it has a very good chance of damaging the node. That is, it will reduce the maximum amount of aspect in it, and it might even make the node like downgrade a tier. So there's like bright nodes, normal nodes, and dim, I think. And the lower tier you go, the slower it recharges. So I typically think of Node in a Jar as like the backup solution for moving nodes. However, the nodes themselves are just tile entities. So I want to test if they can be moved by a dolly. I don't believe they can. I think we need slightly more sophisticated entity moving technology for this. But let's see, where exactly is this node? There it is. Trying to spot them without the thermometer is hard. Yeah, we can't dolly them, unfortunately, but there are things we can do. The Blood Magic Teleposer can very easily swap the position of two tile entities. I know this works on nodes, however, it requires a tier 4 blood altar, which is like 70 million years away. So that's not happening. Project Red has a Teleposer as well, however, I believe this one can only teleport players, it can't teleport tile entities. Unfortunate. That means that the only solution left that I know of is the Builder from RF Tools. So the Builder can, not the Dimension Builder, the Builder block can also swap the position of tile entities. And it works just like a Teleposer, except it's a bit more complicated to set up because you have to define a region, not just a block. So you need to make this work, you need, I think, a Builder and a bunch of shape chambers. So I'm hoping that these are space chambers. Yeah, I'm hoping that these do not take a resonant frame each. Looks like they take a resonant frame each. Yep. Alright, well, these define the corners of a cube. So you need 8 space chamber corner, well, 7 corners and a controller, but the controller takes a corner. So you need 8 corners plus your Builder block, which take 9 resonant frames. Thankfully I have them, but that's like 4.5 hours of laser crafting. Let's order the components we need and let the logistics table do all the subcrafting. I think this really highlights the importance of recrafting the components that take a long time, like those resonant frames, because, oh no, I don't have enough resonant frames. And here was going on about the virtues of pre-crafting when I have not done nearly enough of it. Alright, I'll order as many as I can, and then I guess we'll start the resident frames, and just have to wait for them. Maybe we'll improve our laser setup. Well, following my own advice, I now have a bunch of, I want basics, I want residents. Bunch of resident frames crafting. These take, again, about, with our current laser setup, half an hour each. And I can only upgrade them so far before I max out the transport of the Golden Kinesis Pipe. I mean, I guess I could slap on a few more lasers, but that doesn't change, even if I get up to 2560 instead of... In fact, right now, it looks like I already have my Kinesis Pipe maxed out. There's Or no, I just don't have enough energy going into this kinesis pipe. Because it doesn't tap energy off of the nuclear reactors. It only gets energy from the wind sources. And I assume this is more or less drained. Yeah. I think I'm just gonna leave this here to craft. It'll take it a fair amount of time. Oh boy. It'll take it a really long time. Let me do something about this. How about we stop powering this? And so no more energy will go into the stray laser beam. But no more energy will go into powering our logistics pipe consumers through the wind turbines. Now the wind turbines basically just power the assembly table, which is still not a lot of energy. Oh, my wind turbines are gone. I swear I looked at these earlier and they had like 90% durability remaining. I did, right? You can look it up in the videos. I guess that's why the wind turbines aren't producing energy anymore. Let's I guess make another set of 4 wind turbines. The first time I made these, it took hours of compressoring, but now that maybe not hours, but now that I have overclockers, this process is much faster. It's well, about 9 times as fast. Right now, I think all the energy for this more or less is coming from the 6 water wheels we have, and while they produce like 400-ish RF a tick, 500 RF a tick, it's really not enough to make resonant frames in any reasonable amount of time. So I guess the rotor health thing was just lying to me before when it said it's like 99%. Anyways, yeah, wait. Oh no, okay, I was about to say, wait, why is it overlapping? Was it because I was in the area? I don't know. Anyways, each of these 1 KU is effectively 1 RF, right? So each one of these is producing like 350-ish RF a tick. And wind strength varies over time, but on average, I'd say all these together produce somewhere around like definitely over 1,000 RF a tick. And it is enough to get our lasers running on that. Alright, well, enough dealing with lasers for now. Let's get back to Thaumcraft. We won't be able to move nodes for a little bit because I need those resonant frames to finish. However, we can still upgrade our wand. The next wand I want to make is the gold-banded Grapewood wand. So wands are typically defined by the wood material as well as the cap material. The lowest tier is wood, and then there's great wood, and then there's silver wood, and then there's all kinds of fancy stuff above that. Likewise for caps, it's like iron, then gold, silver's in there somewhere, and then there's like mana steel, bunch of different tiers as well. Anyways, this is the easiest wand to make at our current progression level. So the caps are trivial, just gold nuggets. The great wood is pretty easy. However, making great wood logs requires a crucible, and you need some aspects. Oh, I noticed something's not right here. There's water shards all over the ground. Why is this machine not off? Oh, because it produces 2 outputs. So it puts one output here and then ejects the other one into the world. So I guess I need to set up this like shut off logic on water shards as well. I mean, I guess I could just let it happen. It uses ice. I don't really care if it wastes ice. I'll put a void upgrade in the water shard drawer so that the items don't sit on the ground. Alright, back to the crucible. So if you place a cauldron and you slap it with your wand, it becomes a crucible. Then you need to fill it with water, and I believe it needs heat as well, so you need to put it over fire. This setup here is temporary, as I want to replace the fire source with something a bit smaller later. You can also pipe water in as opposed to bucketing it in. Anyways, once you put water in there, once it bubbles, it's ready to go. I want to start by making a piece of nitor, because this is how you can make it so that you don't have to use the lava. So that requires throwing glowstone into Potentia, Ignis, and Lux. So I think Potentia and Ignis come from coal, and Lux comes from torches. Even better, We have glowstone contains lux and still coal for this. So it's 3 pieces of coal, 3 pieces of glowstone, and then 2 more pieces of glowstone as the catalyst. So I think I'm allowed to just do this for all the coal and just start tossing glowstone in. And yeah, it makes a mess. You see all that flux goo? It just kind of flows out and does its thing. Whatever. Flux never hurt anyone. Alright, I think that's all I'm getting out of it. So that flux goo is... it's not good. You can right-click your Crucible with a wand to let it all out. What a mess. Anyways, it mostly just harmlessly flows into the ground here. Letting it linger is bad, so any that doesn't flow away, I'll clean up by just putting a piece of wood or a piece of cobble over it. And sponging it up, basically. There's no concept of flux in chunks in Thaumcraft 4, so you don't have to worry about that. So once you sponge up the purple stuff, you're good to go. Alright, let's now redo this setup, but now I can use our niter as a heat source. So I'll just place it here, and now if I place our crucible above that, it'll be heated. So if I put some water in that, it'll boil in just a second and it'll start hurting me. I think. There we go. Working as expected. The flux goo generally takes one of 2 forms, either liquid or gas. If it's a liquid, it, sinks to the bottom. If it's a gas, it floats up and is gone forever and you don't have to worry about it as long as you don't have a roof. And I have no roof. So, gas is just automatically taken care of. For the liquids, let's generate a bunch of flux goo. It is unable to flow onto half slabs, so I don't have to worry about that. And if another block enters its space, it gets destroyed. So I just have a sticky piston here pushing a block. Voila. Automated cleanup. And that time it made a bunch of gas that just harmlessly floats away. Alright, so yeah, Thaumcraft 4 Flux, not that big a deal if you know how to handle it. Getting back to our wand, the grape wood for it for now has to be made from oak wood. Eventually we get a way to make the great wood sapling, but we don't have it yet. And normally these world gen, but again, Skyblock, they don't world gen here. So this is quite an infusion, by the way. Anyways, for now we'll just make it in the cauldron here. So is that a 3 or an 8? I actually can't tell. That's a 3, right? It's 3 arbor and 1 precantatio. So oakwood here has 4 arbor, and this here has precantatio in it. Yeah. So in theory, if I just throw netherwort and followed by a whole bunch of oak wood in, I should eventually get some great wood and a big mess. Hey, look, see? I got some great wood. I think I get 10 total. Once I've gotten 10, the rest is junk. There we go. All right. With this, I can craft that into a wand core. Where's my iron wand? So that's a great wood rod, and then we can craft the caps. Actually, I'm gonna make a 3rd cap here. So, whoopsies, I need more ignis. All right, I'm gonna recharge my wand and get enough materials for a 3rd cap. This node only has 14 ignis in it, so while I'm draining it, I do have to be careful not to drain all the ignis. So let's leave it at that. We'll leave the last 5 there. Again, because I'm still using the starter wand, it doesn't have the don't drain the last aspect behavior yet. Back at the crafting table, give me 2 more caps. So, by using 2 caps, I can make a wand. Looks like I need a little bit more ignis, but it would make a iron-capped Greatwood wand. It has 50 capacity and 100% crafting cost. If I use 3 caps, I can't use 3 caps. Alright, this makes a scepter, but I guess scepters are not available at this tier. Scepters are more efficient for crafting, but cannot be used for spellcasting. Looks like I need to gather up 7 more ignis. Unfortunately, I only found 1 ignis node in the overworld, so we're going to have to go to the nether probably to find ignis nodes. Did I ever make another portal? I don't think so. Look at me splurge on another portal, making it extra wide so that it's like my entire building scheme is odd tile count based, right? So and I even filled in the corners. Aha. Alright, so let's go to the nether. It's gonna be a war world there, so there's not gonna be any, resources. However, if we get our thermometer out and fly down to a low Y level, I should mark the portal so I know how to get back, I guess. I don't have a teleportation system yet. But if we go down to the low Y levels, we should see a bunch of nodes. Nodes? Anyone? Hello? Earth to nodes. Oh, here's one. Doesn't look very ignis, does it? Let's switch back to first person. Perdicio Praecantate. Oh no, Terra Praecantate. Wait, what? Perdicio Terra. Alright, well, I'm going to spend a little bit of time looking around here, hoping to find some big ignis nodes. This one looks juicy, huh? That looks very red. And it is a whole bunch of ignis. Alright, that's exactly what I wanted. Charge my wand, please. Thank you. So if I need to, eventually, when I need these like big ignis nodes, I'll come bring some of these home as well. You can transport these just like you can transport regular ore nodes with the builder. So, back in the overworld. Hello, pigmen. We'll probably get a lot of pigmen spawning through that portal just because the only place pigmen are allowed to spawn on the other side is on that little bit of obsidian. Anyways, let's get to our crafting here and make the gold-banded grapewood wand. So this wand holds 50 each. It has 100% cost, which is better than this one, which has 110% cost, and perhaps best of all, it has the do not damage aura nodes when you drain them behavior. Making another trip around to recharge my new wand, and as you can see now, it left one air and one aqua in the node, so the node is unharmed. I'm going to go through and charge this one more or less to max. It's a little tedious to be charged to have to charge these wands, but don't worry, we will eventually come up with a better solution that doesn't involve actually tapping aura nodes. We can do it magically. Ooh, fancy. My wands fully recharged, 50 of each aspect, and would you look at that? Our resident machine frames are done. So, there's only 4 of them for some reason. Did I run out of... Oh, I ran out of these. I actually stepped away from my computer for a little while there to let the processing run. I was hoping they'd all be done, but 4 is enough. 4 allows us to build the rest of the space chamber. And with that, we can start moving nodes around into our base. We'll need to charge our builder here. Just place it on a energy source, and it has a significant internal buffer. That's what, 10 million? I think it costs somewhere around 1 million RF to swap these tile entities. So we can do 10 each time we have to recharge it. I mean, we could just bring a portable power source too, but there we go. It retains its power when you break it, I think. Good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a space chamber, probably just like right over here, and let's start in this little cell here. And because I don't want to move the space chamber itself, that's kind of a lot of work, I'm going to use the space defined by it as like a staging area. And we'll do a 2-step swap. First, we swap the aura node from where it is to here, and then we swap it from here to where we want it to eventually be. I think it'll make more sense once you see once I actually demonstrate it. Place your 8 space chamber corners and the 1 controller to form a confined space here. Basically, there's a 1x1 space fully defined by these blocks, and then right-click your space chamber with a wrench. That's the area 1 block. Right-click a space chamber card on that space chamber controller, and then if you take a builder, place it down, put the space chamber in there, set it to swap mode, and give it a redstone signal. It'll swap the block that's behind the builder with this block that's confined, defined by the space chamber. So in this case, obviously, the block behind the builder is a torch. And you see there, the builder ignores the first redstone signal you give it for some reason. The torch obviously can't actually exist there, so the torch falls. But say I had a conduit there, right? And then I swap it, it'll put the conduit here, the torch there. Voila. This behavior is useful for a number of things. One of the most powerful things it can do is atomically move an inventory from here to there. So if you want to, when receive your redstone signal, move everything in one inventory from one spot to another, this type of setup works extremely well. However, it can also do the aura node thing. So let's grab this air and aqua node. I don't even know if it's a good one, but we're gonna grab it. So I just need to come over here, place the builder up against the node. Yep, like so. And then apply a redstone signal to it. And you hear that sound? The node is no longer here. It's gone. Let's go get rid of this waypoint then. And then pick up our builder. Yeah, it took it 1 million RF to swap nodes. Nodes are a lot more expensive than just like swapping torches. But anyways, if we head over to our space chamber now, we'll see that the node now exists here. And its stats weren't changed. Unlike when you jar it and move it, its stats stay the same. So if I want this node to exist, I don't know, say right where we have this torch right now, place this here, grab our lever, and now the node is here. You can very faintly see it, but if you look at the tooltip, it's there. So I'm going to build a collection of nodes, and basically go grab all the nodes that are down there and move them into our base. Since this involves breaking my builder over the void a whole bunch, I'm going to make a magnet just to make sure that it doesn't, fall into the void and I lose it. Alright, so just to grab the next node here, here's air and aqua one. This is the one I just got, was it? I did actually do the waypoint, didn't I? Okay, here it is. So place this up against it, get our lever, flip it twice, get my builder back, head back to our base, and then we have to place a second node. So right now the node's chilling in our holding area. Our first node is here. I want our nodes to be, I believe it's exactly, is it 4 or 5? Let me find out. If nodes are too close to each other, they bully each other. That is, they like steal energy from each other. And eventually that results in nodes that get bullied get hurt by it. We don't want that quite yet. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's put them 4 empty blocks between them. See if that works. Did I do it? My node here? Yeah. So with 4 air blocks in between, they seem content. The system should also work just fine interdimensionally. So right now I'm in the nether, although I can hardly tell. We have this node here. It's not a very big node, but I'll take it anyways. It might take a bit more energy. Let's see. We have exactly 5 million in here. Oh wow, it took all 5 million to swap it. So yeah, I guess it takes additional energy to work interdimensionally, but it does work. Now I can head back through my portal. Haha, see ya. Ow. Hey, get me out here. Yeah, that's what I thought. And our aura node should be waiting for us in the overworld. What? How'd you get here? Ignore that. Our aura node is waiting for us in here. And I set up a small area here. I even took the torches away so you can kind of see where the nodes are. The nodes do give off a little bit of light, and I'm placing them on top of each of these black tiles, although I do need to recharge this again. Bagged about a dozen nodes so far, and here is the first bright node I found. I think bright nodes recharge faster than normal nodes, so that's valuable. Let's snag it. And then put it in its home. Now that I have all these nodes in more or less one place, it makes wand recharging much easier. I can just, walk by and basically swipe all of these nodes, take a little bit from each node, and we can recharge our wand quite quickly. But that's not all these nodes can do. Aha, there we go. So here's our break node. Now remember what I said earlier about node bullying? When nodes are too close to each other, the larger node will suck a little bit from the smaller node and add it to itself. If this takes the last point from a node, it's very bad for it. However, if it takes, any other point from the node, it's no worse than if you just were draining the node with your wand. So we can set up nodes in a way that basically you have one node in the center that is intentionally bullying a bunch of other nodes, and with that you can basically grow a super node out of it. Let me show you what I mean. I put one node on top of each of these cobble blackstones, and one in the center here. Only the one in the center will be able to bully, because all these other ones are individually too far apart from each other. However, this one will have 8 possible targets to draw from. Now you have to make sure you put the single largest node you have in the middle here, but it will draw from all 8 surrounding nodes semi-randomly, but because it's drawing from 8 different ones, no individual node will get bullied to the point where it gets damaged. So it's like light bullying, because that's better than regular bullying. It seems to have the size of my box a little wrong here. The victim nodes do need to be a little bit closer to the bully node for this to work, but you'll observe that every now and then a lightning bolt will come from the center node to this one, and in fact it's already added 1 point of Perditio to this center node, right? It didn't have Perditio to begin with, and it took it away from this. Now eventually this node will regain that 1 point that was taken away. Maybe it already has. There we go. It went from 26 back up to 27. But yeah, now that I'm watching, I don't know why it isn't bullying anymore. Does it need line of sight? Is this blocking it? I don't think so. I don't know. I'm going to play around with the setup a little bit more to try to get it fine-tuned. It seems my original setup was correct. You want a 7x7 cube with your largest node in the center, and there it goes. It just zapped some of the other ones. So now our node here has picked up everything except Ordo. Do I have that node has Ordo? That node has Ordo. So yeah, I have some Ordo nodes here. I didn't really care to balance out the availability of the aspects in the side nodes. I mean, 3 of them have Ordo. Not too bad. But if we leave this here for some time, it'll eventually just become a very big node. So right now this node has, let's see, how much total? 65 plus 44 is 109, plus 8, 117 total aspects. Let's wrap up today's episode here, and at the start of tomorrow's episode, I'll check this node again and see how much bigger it has grown. But this node bullying setup will allow our center node here to grow a lot without actually destroying the nodes that we are feeding it. But yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.